Right. Welcome to week 2, Final Fantasy League. We got our feature matches here. I got Jack H with me tonight. How's it going?
I am quite tired, but glad to be here.
Yeah, just got off a plane a couple hours ago. He did, not me. And we got John P here, our fearless podcast host, up against Adrian C. What's going on in his hand over there?
It seems to be some sort of soul type build. I mean, he's got, we see his mana as a blue green land in the swamp. He actually has four more lands in his hand. And then the two non-land cards are Balaam T-Rex, Sasor, and the Evil Reawaken. So I think he's probably trying to set up to reanimate this thing with the two
Yeah,
counters.
because I was about to say if he only had two non-lands, his hand that was one of them. Probably might not have wanted to cycle, but now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. John over here
What's
has a pretty nice hand. Looks to be two colors so far. I do see he drew a third color card here, but he's got two ice magics. He's got another combat tutorial. He's got Dreams of Laguna. He's got two planes, and in hand he's also got Squall the Seed Mercenary, which is a black-white card. But he has tons to do in the meantime.
So it might just be splashing the
Yeah,
squall. I mean, the card's worth it.
including this Rook turret that he just drew for turn to have a nice little 4-drop here. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing special as a card, but yeah, you could do worse.
If you're gonna mostly be going two colors and those two colors are blue and white, it'll probably be fine early on. If lies, you might lose some lands away.
Oh yeah, so
Um,
on plan here. This is what's happening.
yeah,
Big
I mean, you
Dino
mentioned
set.
that John has the ice magics, right? So you can at least, reset this thing's counters, put it on top.
Yeah, I mean that's his play. There's no other play. So and then
Yeah.
once it comes to play, he can do it again. Oh,
Uh,
looks like he might just load up a counter on the Rook turret with the and play combat tutorial, and then just bounce the dinosaur, which is
yeah, I don't
not.
like that as much
Mm.
because then Adrian can just play it.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna end up back on the battlefield at some point anyway. He says, "Let me just get some more cards. Maybe I find answers to things." I mean,
Yeah.
he does have the tapper here in play as well.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so we can just like top the T-Rex.
Yeah, and he has another one of them in hand as well, the Co-Earl, or as I just call it, Carl. Easier that way. But
Uh, Adrian's trying a couple of non-lands here. He drew a combat tutorial last turn of his own, and he's just drawn a trip up. Unsure if that's from the big spell sheet or Aether Drift itself, but regardless, it's one of them that's making its way into its pool.
yeah, I will say I haven't seen too many offset cards be played yet against me. I know I'm barely playing any of my deck, but I mean, if you have I mean, Trip Up's a pretty decent one here.
Yeah, it's nice removal. The cycling um, definitely improves this over like your classic mid-stating modes or whatever. I don't think there's one in the set either. I guess Ice Magic is kind of filling that role.
Yeah,
But Ice Magic only hits creatures.
yeah. Eject can bounce anything, not land permanent, but that's an uncommon.
Yeah. Only the hand though, right?
Yeah, exactly. It looks like I mean it's not particularly efficient, but to like basically have two mana on on demand every turn to not take 8. But yeah, it's what's working this turn, I suppose.
Okay, he's just gonna hit the Rook chart with a trip up Hasagi in a counter, more damage in.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean I don't think he can afford to draw this.
does he have more lands in hand?
He has one planes. He has two ice magic, Dreams of Laguna. He has another Cole Earl. He has the Squall that he can't cast, and he drew Matoya, the Archon Elder. So that's the rare that lets you draw a card
Oh,
whenever you surveil or scry or
okay.
surveil. But I believe there's 0 cards in the set that have the word scry on them. So
So
maybe on
that's
the
with
bonus
Dreams
sheet,
of
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's good with Dreams of Laguna. When you say
Yep.
scry one, draw a card is a little better.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I mean, like holding up the tapper for the T Rex definitely fine, but
Yeah,
you kind of want to be doing something else.
it's woefully inefficient. Um, I mean, Adrian hasn't really presented a dangerous clock outside of the dinosaur, but
Right.
I wouldn't say it's like a sustainable way to make it through this part of the game to just have to set aside 2 mana and have your thing not be destroyed in the interim.
Yeah. On the topic of offset cards, um, I think I have three, and they're all from Duskmourn.
Okay.
Got obviously Drag to the Roots, wonderful card. And then I have a Fear of the Dark and my Asthma Demon that both made their way into my deck too.
I mean, I have a Starfall invocation. That's pretty okay.
It's a pretty good one.
It's okay.
Adrian's drawn a Glitch Ghost Surveyor was not one of my favorite cards um, in Aether Drift, but
Yeah,
notably this set doesn't have a lot of flying or reach, so it may present more of a problem than it would have in Aether Drift, where like half the green creatures just have reach for no absolute
yeah,
reason.
yeah. We like in this set we don't have a 6 mana 6/6 that gains life and has reach.
Yeah, it's just a
We
6/6
don't have
again.
our 4 mana 4/4 in this set doesn't have reach either. Like
That one's a weird one because
hard
it
to come
feels
by.
like all the frogs have reach, right? We're conditioned from Bloomborough to think frogs have reach.
Oh, this one not so much. He's a Gigantod. He's too big. Like he can't. He's not spry or mobile enough to always
Oh,
grab the flyers.
okay.
Yeah. So again, this ice magic is coming into play here.
Yeah, so Adrian's gonna draw this, but he won't have the mana play this turn.
I mean, he could also just potentially ice magic the Sahagin, and he drew a syncopate last turn, so he could try and syncopate the dinosaur back on the way down. It sounds like Adrian's not got too much else going on in hand. That's great.
No, so his draws were the T-Rex that he kept on top,
Yeah.
and he drew a Malboro as well.
Okay.
He can't cast more than this turn, so he's probably just gonna run out either his Sogin or his Glitch Ghost.
Yeah. So he seems to be like pretty solidly in all three of the colors here, but the mana is mostly looks like it'll work here.
Yeah, he had the dual lands, and he's got a couple of faces. Um, this feels like a pool that has sin in it. You know, smells like a sin.
I mean, we saw it.
Yeah.
We saw last week. Sin, taking over a game completely.
I was right. He does have one in his pool. Um, Actually, every single one of his rares is in Sultai, but half of them are god awful. He has two Excalibur 2s and a Genji glove, and a Lewis sacrifice. Just a whole selection of awful prayers. But he's 5-3, so he seems to be making this
Yeah,
Sultai deck work.
yeah. So he is 5-3. John is 6-3. So he's closing out his week. Adrian's almost closing out his week.
Yeah, he's running a Vein here.
I mean, there are a lot of really, really busted rares in this set, and there are some unplayable ones, but not that many.
Yeah, like definitely the average power level at rare feels higher, which then makes it feel worse when you got a bad one. It's like, oh man, I got the from father to son or whatever. When this guy's got knocked around, it's like, come on, what's up with that?
I mean, I'm starting a crystal collection over in my league pool. I got a red one and a green one. We'll see how far we can go.
Yeah, I've got the green one, and I'm playing green, and it has already made its way out of my deck.
Yeah.
Draw for turn was a Veins Treachery. I imagine this is going to get syncopated.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want it to resolve, but he's more easily able to block this 4/4 than he is a 6/6 trample, which is coming down next turn, and he doesn't have anything for that.
Yeah, I mean it's true, but on the other hand, Adrian is at 7.
Yeah,
and like there's no world where you are able to kill him or tap the T-Rex down so it can't block and get him for the last points of damage you need.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll. I don't know if he'll have time to pull it off, but he did draw a card to combo with his Matoya last turn, which is the Ill Meg Pixie.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Whenever this creature attacks, throw one on the draw card. It seems a whole lot better.
Yep, it's a moderate improvement.
I mean, it's not a
Yeah,
great board save for Adrian because
yeah.
you know,
His
like
choices,
instead
his choices
John can
seem pretty limited.
like tap swing out
He's
on his turn.
yeah. He's even got a slash of light here to destroy one of these creatures.
Adrian drew a Vane's Treachery last turn, so
Okay.
he can get rid of one of these toppers, but he chose to just run his creature out this turn.
Yeah, that makes sense. Uh, neither of these creatures are that good targets to be tapped anyway. They're not very large. Um,
Well, you'll probably have to kill one of them at some point, but
so I think what he's going to do is he's going to play the pixie and then, yeah, that's what I thought. Looks like John wants to potentially slash of light the Sahagin,
okay.
and now he can just attack with the 3/3 and then tap down something and then tap down something else next turn potentially. Yeah, so he gets to tap something down now, and if he wants to, when he untaps, he can tap something. Adrian
Yeah.
is probably going to be gaining a life this turn, though, so it won't be.
Yeah, his draw was a forest, so he,
Mhm.
he all he has to do is run out the T-Rex, and he has the treachery, kind of use it now or hold up. But definitely no reason to not play the T-Rex. It won't be lethal because of this life, but it's not looking awesome. Yeah, so he's just gonna respond now while John's tapped out. He's deciding if he wants to kill the Pixie or the Carl.
Yeah, makes sense.
I feel like I mean, there's not really a good answer because if you kill the Pixie, John's still left with two toppers, and if you kill the Carl, your flyer just gets tapped, and then the Pixie hits you anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be tough here. Let's see.
Sounds like a job for Sin.
Is that what he drew? No, he has a vein stretch.
No, it's in his deck. I would assume it was in his deck.
I mean, I just picked up a Sin today and immediately went into a many-colored deck as a result.
It is what we call a good one.
So yeah, I believe it was a mostly appropriate response. Cards absolutely wild.
Yep.
All right, so here comes the Matoya, and yeah, nice little bit of value here.
Adrian thinks so as well.
He's got a Swallow by Leviathan on top, which is just 3 mana, Surveil 2. Counter a spell.
How many cards are in his graveyard? Has he
There's like
checked?
7.
Oh, geez. Okay, so yeah, enough.
Yeah, he's good on that part. Yeah, so now he can tap, and he can also play Dreams of Laguna, which will draw him a card, an extra card.
Yeah, I mean it's another land off the top here. Just
Yeah,
he kept the 5 window, and he has continued
so
to draw.
yeah, the game's definitely winding towards its conclusion here.
Yeah,
He's gonna dump a Dispelling Exhale. Uh, okay card, but a lot less good if you don't have dragons.
yeah. I mean in this set, it's essentially
It's
a quench, right?
Yeah. I mean,
There
he just
anything.
drew Dragoon's Wyvern, but that's a Drake, not a drag.
It is. Yeah, it's not a dragon.
It's a Drake, I believe.
Yeah. If there's any dragons in this set.
There's a couple of creatures that flip into dragons that transform.
Oh, the Bahamut and
Yeah, there's a couple.
Xenos flips into a
Oh
dragon
well,
too. Yeah.
John left a Dion on top. Not that he might necessarily need it, but it's there.
Hey, you know what? That's a dragon on the back. Fun fact.
It's Bahamut. Yeah.
Oh, should have kept just dispelling exhale. You know.
Well, I don't think the game was going to go that long. I also said I don't know if the game was going to go long enough for him to like set up a Matoya value train, but it did.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a very impressive display of card advantage here. This Matoya's already drawn 3 cards, I believe.
I was able to do this at the pre-release. I had a Pixie, I had 2 Dreams, and I had 2 Ultimecias as well, which surveil 2 unattacks and enters the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
the first thing I did when the set came out was order one of those for a commander deck that is based around surveilling.
yeah, that checks out.
All right, so nice one here for John. He basically was in control mostly from start to finish here. Adrian was a little slow out the gates.
Yeah, I mean, keeping the 5 land, it wasn't unreasonable, but it was quite slow.
Yeah, he
And
got the Sahagin at least decently early, and he drew a
yeah,
3 drop. But John just got so much cards. Like he was just ahead on quite a few metrics there, including cards.
yeah. So Adrian's on. I mean, it looks to be more black than the other 2 colors, but there's, I certainly would not call any of this a splash.
Yeah,
Seems to just be playing straight up 3 color, but he's got decent fixing. And obviously he has a Sen, so see why.
understandable to some degree. Yes. John's deck looks pretty tight, honestly. He only had 3 5 drops, nothing above that. So pretty sleek looking deck here. White blue,
Okay.
just that the squall was the only splash. Um, oh no, he had 2 Ultimecia, so those 3 were his
Oh, sure.
splashes.
Ultimate, hold on, Jesus Christ. Ultimate is, I mean, splashing that one is a
Yeah,
little more questionable because it'll be a lot harder to flip, but the front side's like pretty fine.
yeah, especially in colors that aren't ramping. Hard to imagine you're getting to 8 that much. But I guess the league games are going to go slightly longer than your average
Yeah.
game. So, I mean, look, he's 6 and 3. It's working. He has a lot of nice, good, cheap interaction. Like we saw the ice magics. I saw a game earlier where he deployed multiple white Auracite when he was playing a game earlier today. Um, yeah, he has like the 5 drop from Tarkir that bounces something, the 3/3 that's up at the top of
Oh,
his
that is
curve. So
good.
yeah, so his deck is like pretty focused. I would say like a blue white, more like more like flying tempo than like
Yeah.
your artifact deck that the set says we're supposed to have.
Yeah. So Adrian, he brought in an airship crash,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
brought in the good old poo poo UFO.
yeah.
I guess he
Just a flying wall. Yeah,
yeah, like enough flyers that he wanted to just have something to get in the way of them.
that makes sense.
Um,
That's what he saw.
he's I mean, he's on the play. He has 2 lands. He's small but an island. He has a commune with beavers that's not castable. But he has a Black Mage's Rod, 2 Ice Magics, and a Shambling Seath. So he has a lot of action. Certainly more of a proactive hand than his last one. And he's drawn a 3rd land to cast the Seath as well.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I think we were talking about that card last week. Like, kind of just a little too clunky for the most part.
I quite like it.
Yeah.
I'm running 2 in my league deck, and it's nice because it's like 3 minute 3/3. Like obviously it enters tap, which is not great. Oh well, that sucks. um, it enters tap, which isn't awesome, but like milling it or like, I have a couple ways of pitching it. And then it's just like a free card that comes back, and it's a decent sized body. I like the card quite a lot.
Yeah. So John here in hand, he has Dreams of Laguna. He has Riverwalk Technique. So he's been on Tarkir here for a minute. He's got the Ice Ridge Serpent as well from Tarkir. He's got the Squall again, but does have the black source. And he's got Ultimecia. He does not have a 4th land. If he doesn't draw land, he only can really do Dreams of Laguna next turn.
Yeah. Yeah, Adrian kept 2 lands. Every single one of his draws has been a land, so he has like been hitting his land drops, but as a result, his only non-land cards in hand are now 2 Ice Magics and Beavers, which aren't
Hmm.
super great on this, and he can't cast the Community of Beavers.
Yeah, but
Uh,
John is missing on lands here, but he does have like multiple shots to hit a land here, between Dreams of Laguna and the looter he has in play.
yeah, that's right.
Right, so
Yeah, I
still,
mean, with
yeah.
the, I would imagine that the CF is pretty good with the Q and Merchant as well, right? Just
So he
looted away.
surveilled his stuck in Summoner Sanctum in the graveyard to draw another one. He wasn't getting
uh,
out. He was stuck no matter what. There was
yeah,
no
the
getting out of it.
Summoner Sanctum does not release prisoners.
No, and now another miss on the land here.
And Adrian's gonna just ice magic the merchant. I'm John will just have to put this on the bottom.
Yeah, that's taking a long trip to the bottom there.
The CF getting exiled was actually pretty unfortunate because the Adrian's hand doesn't have like a ton of action.
Yeah,
And having a thing in the graveyard would be nice. Like he just drew an Adventurer's Airship, so he could have
yeah,
just brought it back now.
yeah. He messaged him with something to the respect of like, I was just praying there was no syncopate there.
Yeah. It's a brutal one for cards like that. Anything with flashback.
All right, so it looks like he's gonna play his rare here. So I believe this is gives double strike if you attack alone,
Yeah,
and when he deals combat damage, you could reanimate a 3-drop creature.
that's right. Yeah,
Does
it's
it go to your
actually
hand or battlefield?
it's any permanent with 3 or less to the
Oh, okay, so
battlefield.
it does a little Sun Titan trigger there for those
Yep.
who have played with
Uh,
that.
I can only imagine it's going to eat the other ice magic that's in Adrian's hand. Um, I don't, really think you want this 3/4 with double strike that reanimates stuff sticking around if you can help it.
Yeah,
He's trying to force
definitely not
airship.
not a pleasant prospect.
Yeah.
Right.
He's drawing a forest here, so he can cast his beavers, um, potentially other green cards if he finds them.
Yeah, like these. There's
Oh,
always. Oh,
no.
did he? There was just what instants and
Oh.
sorcerers?
He had 2 combat tutorials and an airship crash.
Yeah, it's yeah. You need
That's
you need a
heartbreaking.
creature, land, or artifact, I believe.
Which is like 85% of the set. Yeah, I mean that's rough.
Roughly. Yeah. Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say like that spot in like in the set design, I just never find room for in my deck.
yeah,
Except for like there was a couple sets where they pushed them a little bit. There was like the
yeah,
Malevolent Rumble, Cash Grab, and I think there was like another one that was like pretty pushed.
yeah. Those were nice because they actually like bend the cards too. The Beavers doesn't even put the cards in your graveyard. It just like puts them on the bottom when
Yeah.
they're done. So
I
it's not even
mean
useful for black deck.
Rumble was busted because it gave you an Eldrazi token too. That's the
You
thing
play
that's
Writhing.
busted about it. But yeah, so I think they tried for a few sets, and it was like they were almost like a little too good. Like
Yeah,
they weren't like broken or unbalanced. It's just like it feels like that slot doesn't need to get pushed as to far as what it can do.
right.
But then we get left with Commune with Beavers, which is a card I like almost never play.
The Rumble actually Alexi's constructed play too. That's how
Yeah,
good the card is.
yeah, that one was particularly good, but it's MH3 where everything was pushed. So we see the relentless ATM here trying to make some money for Adrian. That is likely going to get stuck in the Summoner's Sanctum, I would imagine.
Unfortunate. Well, he may as well have been a mill, but he drew discard his side quest on the mark.
Because because it's just when you have no cards in hand, the loot is just
Yeah. Yeah, it's
just take
been
the top card and drop it.
been a stroke of bad luck because he whiffed on his beavers, milled 3 pieces of got rid of 3 pieces of action, Todd decked a land the turn after, and now he's milled his great removal spell with his airship.
I mean, like we all know that mill is random, but it still feels like it isn't when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, it's easy to tell yourself like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. It was,
It's like you could have just as
2020.
easily milled 3 lands that you didn't need and drew to that card that got milled in this instance.
Yeah,
It's all random.
of course.
But it's still I feel the pain, I feel the pothole mill pain sometimes.
Yeah, I'm a known pothole mole hater. Another land off the top. So he's got one more turn to find something to do.
Yeah, I mean he's got an ice magic here on top. So in hand he has Dispelling Exhale, a Restoration magic, and he still has the Riverwalk technique and the Wyvern from earlier. So it looks like he's got a lot of bases covered here.
Yeah. Adrian's drawn a Retrieve the Esper, which, is not a bad card, but in this circumstance is not really going to help him survive, knowing the contents of John's hand.
Yeah, and John has multiple types of answers. Like he has Dispelling Exhale, he has Restoration Magic, and he has Riverwalk technique. So there's like three different ways he can interact, whether it's countering, whether it's putting a creature on top or bottom, or whether it's protecting his creature.
Sounds like a good blue-white deck to me.
Sounds like just well built fundamental Magic here. You know, not trying to do anything crazy or fancy, not running expensive cards in his deck. Like five, he has 3/5 drops, and that's it. And it seems to be paying dividends so far. Deck's been working like very smoothly.
Yeah. So we can cast this. I can only imagine it's just going to eat Ice Magic.
Well, he doesn't have Ice Magic. He has Dispelling Exhale, but
Oh,
Riverwalk
yeah.
technique will just counter it clean. Just counter target non-creature.
The Riverwalk was what I was thinking of. Yeah. Yeah. And he doesn't have the mana to flash
Yeah,
it back.
whenever I
so
see, I don't know if you've been there, but whenever I see Riverwalk technique, I just think of the Riverwalk in San Antonio.
Oh no, I can't say I have.
It's just like stuck in my head, like river. Like that's the only time I ever heard that term before. All right, so anyway, closing with that small anecdote, we do see John getting the win here. Just very focused deck. Adrian's draws were a little wonky. Kept himself in the game, but ultimately, John just had a very consistent display there with his deck. So congratulations to John P. And see you back in a little bit.